Hey Boo Buddies, Anya here, and it's time to set up the next stage in our journal. For me, that is a new quarter as well as March. Since my customized quarters don't match up to the standard what everybody else fiscal year quarters, I'm calling it the spring quarter since it's not really quarter one. But yeah, so I am changing up how I do my quarterly setup. If you have been following me for a while, and I hope you have, you will know that I, for the longest time, just did a coloring cover page like sheet for my quarterly setup so that, you could be artistic, and then I would just use the coloring page to color in whenever I made progress on any of my goals. But I'm not doing that right now because I was noticing that I kind of felt like I was just kind of keeping up with my goals instead of achieving more. And life is different now than it has been in the past, and the needs have changed, and that's the point of a customizable journal. So we have a dashboard for this quarter, and it is going to be a lot of lists right now at the beginning, but they are working lists, and they hopefully will help me keep track of what I need throughout the next 3 months. Let's call this a springtime light academia theme because I've kind of got some mix of bulletin board meets magic meets I just felt like using it kind of theme going on. So yeah, let's call it light academia for the spring quarter. These first lists that I'm setting up are for things in my life that I need to keep track of, my inventory for my shop, both on virtual and in real life. I hope I get to see you all in real life this year. My budget for all of those things that go into my business, and my important dates because there's a lot going on this next 3 months, this spring quarter, so we need to make sure that we are keeping track of our important dates. And then of course my master list. The master list shall keep us safe. The master list shall keep us on track. All hail the master list. So in the past I would have called this like my goals, but it just doesn't apply anymore. It's the master list. All right, now that those spaces are all blocked out, it's time to add some fun decoration. And I tried something and it didn't work, as is often the case. So I started by trying to use some craft paper and cut out to get my table back, and the lesson is if you're going to use your only X-Acto blade to carve pumpkins and not clean it properly, then you don't have an X-Acto blade necessarily ready when you want to set up your journal, and that's the lesson that we have learned. So I did this with my tiny scissors and some washi tape because I could see through the washi tape and use some guidelines, and it was a mess and a struggle. And then I went to the store and got new blades for my X-Acto knife. So even though I wasn't planning on using this washi tape, beautiful as it is, it ended up being a happy accident. I used the trimmings from this awkwardly cut out outline, and I used them to fill in some of the details on the other lists, and that also wasn't part of the plan. I was going to use different decals for that, but this actually ended up giving me some spare scraps that I wanted to use and not waste, and gave me the perfect opportunity to kind of pull the whole spread to make it uniform and cohesive, like I planned it, even though I didn't. And no one would have ever known, except I tell everyone on the internet. This gold paint pen came from the Dollar Tree of all places, and I love it. I love it more than some more of the name brand paint metallic pens that I have come across in my travels. It's just got a very true yellowy gold that stays metallic and it doesn't turn like green or brassy once it gets on the page. It doesn't bleed through because it's not quite so, let's say, powerful. Then I've got my favorite gray Tombow grayscale marker to add in some lines and some drop shadows to kind of give this a nice bulletin effect. This little push pin sticker that I have was actually what I designed this entire spread around, was this push pin sticker, if you can imagine. So picking out which colors I was going to use and kind of the aesthetic that I was going to go for and just the decals and whatnot, it all was to go with this one specific sticker. And it's the only material I used other than my markers and my pens that did not come from the Washi Tape Shop. No affiliation, just everything ended up that way. So everything else, including my unplanned washi tape selection, all came from the same place. But I kind of think it's cool that just one thing is what set off an inspiration for a journal setup. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for when I share my setups with you guys, is that you'll find something that goes, I don't want to do that, but I want to do this. And I hope that that happens. These little flag decals I cut out for a different something and then ended up not using them. They were made with just some scrap paper from the Archer and Olive notebook, and then I used my Tombow brush pen to color it and write in my title. And I think it came out pretty neat. It gave a weird uneven effect that I didn't know I wanted, and I'm really glad I got. For my cutout border that I'm adding over here on the right side, I am going to do my light academia broom with a magical moon and cloud night sky. Not only is it nice and magical, but it also plays into our color scheme and also in the fact that spring is all about spring cleaning, both metaphorical and very, very literal cleaning. I went ahead and had a lot of fun with this decorative border that's going to be over here on the cutout, just because it really is the only real creative part of this quarterly setup, and everything else is very, yeah, it's pretty, yeah, it's decorated, but it's there to be functional. So let's just go ahead and make this as fun and flamboyant as we feel like. Since I'm using a limited color palette in the spread, both in the decoration and the functionality, it means a good, even a thin, strong black line is very important to separate so things don't get muddy and confusing as we go down the line. Because remember, we have to use the spread for the next 3 months. Okay, now it's time to finish off the functional part of this spread by making a line graph, I guess. No, that's not right. A dot chart, I think it is. I don't know the proper term for what you call this. I've done a couple before, but yeah, so it's a lot of lines going this way and that to really showcase the squares. And then I've got the days of the month 1 through 31, and you'll see that I've blocked off one of the middle bars because it is only 30 days in April and then 31 in March and May. And then just adding some grayscale to, let's call it color code. Let's call it color coding. And so this might be a fail, but we're going to try it, is my habit tracker for the quarter. Yeah, all 3 months, 5 habits, 1 page. We're gonna see how this goes. So let's see. I used 3 different grays for this chart, and it came out with a really interesting plaid effect that might be a fail for this graph, but it might be a fun thing to do for decal and decorating for something else down the line. The top of the page was looking a little bare, so I used some washi tape that was in the same color scheme to kind of block off the top and give it a nice border. And then I added a color chart just in case, a little color key on the side, and then another decal just to keep track. So hopefully I won't get confused with the colors going forward for the next 3 months, but it also gave purpose to this decorative border that I did, that I said was only going to be a decorative border, and now it's in a very elaborate color key for 3 colors, 3 grays, so they're even. It's very weird, and I used all those colors in the picture as well, so I don't know, but I had fun, and it's really pretty, and this might be one of my favorite spreads I've ever made, honestly, just aesthetically pleasing. On to March. So March is kind of a different month than February and January have been for this year, so I needed room. So this is going to be a standard big block calendar that we usually like to see in planners. And I'm not using any black on the spread. I'm using only blue and periwinkle and some brown and that same coffee cream brown that I like to use and used in the last setup. Yes, I did freehand the March with my brush pen. I didn't trace it out beforehand. I didn't know I would need so much cursive in my adult life as I have, but there you are. And this periwinkle fine liner that I absolutely love. It's usually too light for writing, but it makes for this beautiful little periwinkle China pattern thing that's going on. Yes, a China pattern calendar. That would be weird. That would be so neat. As you can see, the periwinkle in place of black is a little too pale to really pop off the page. Once I've finished the details I wanted to use this color for, I'm going to go back with a mild liner in a similar color but a darker blue to give more definition to places, not really to cover up the periwinkle, but to kind of give a contrast and give the periwinkle something to, I don't know, fight against, balance off of. And yeah, I used this for the numbers too, because again, I'm not using black, and I really wanted a darker color for the numbers, just so that I could keep track a little bit better. Then I used my creamy coffee color to offset and do the drop shadow, and make everything just kind of stand out a little bit better. I am using washi tape from the set from the Washi Tape Shop. I think the set is called Petals and Parchment, and it's got a collection of flower stickers and border tapes and stuff like that. And I had a lot of fun using all of the parts of that set. And then the same brown butterfly that also came from the Washi Tape Shop and that I used on the last page as kind of a way to cap off the top. And I think it plays really nicely with the rest of these blues. It's time for our first weekly spread, and I am doing a shape of weekly setup that I have never done before and I have never used before, and I've committed to it hard. I am dividing one side of the spread to these 9 equally separated boxes, 7 of which will be the days of the week and 2 are reserved for decoration and doodles. And yeah, we'll get back to the other side of the page in a minute. So I'm playing with the placement of the days of the week in each spread so that it's not the same blank, blah, blank, blah, blank, and these 2 are for the doodles. And same with the doodles they're going to be springtime, they're going to be cleaning themed, they're just going to be cozy housework kind of style. And of course, we need some Boo. We haven't had Boo yet in this setup. So I'm adding a spider web and Boo with a broom to give them something to kind of be cleaning and seeing the cobwebs and deciding if Spider is new housemate or if Spider needs to be cleaned. And again, using the same color scheme as I did before. I did go ahead and use black over here because the doodles need more outlines than I can handle not having. And then I did another cloud because we had a cloud earlier, and so we needed another magic cloud just to balance in what we've already done, but also keeping it fresh and new. For the other side of the spread, I am going back to doing a line a day exercise in my journal. I used to do this specifically for gratitude, but I am going to be using it for a couple different things. So I'll actually be doing 3 lines a day, but I needed some space. So every day this month of March, I'm doing a line a day. And I did kind of a picture frame, a postage stamp, abstract idea to each day of the month. So on this first week, because the first doesn't start until Wednesday, we only have 5 days blocked out. And it's also the only time I'm going to give a title to the page so that you know what it is and decorate the crap out of it, because oh my goodness, how pretty are these things. And then every other place, it's just going to be all 7 days all set up. Okay, it is time to add some details and finish up these weekly spreads before our final flip through. There are a lot of new things going on in this setup, and I hope that they are all successful for me, because this is hands down my favorite bullet journal spread I have ever done in the 3 years I've been doing this, despite all the mistakes and hiccups. This was so much fun, and I'm really happy with how it came out and all the Boo little extras making me smile throughout. I hope you guys found some inspiration, and I will see you in the next one.